Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and persistent legends of the space age, the Black Knight satellite. I mean, this story has everything. Mysterious signals from space, strange photos from NASA, and this overarching conspiracy that maybe, just maybe, we're being watched. So what's the real story here? Let's get into it.
You know, the whole legend really boils down to this one absolutely mind-blowing question. Could there actually be an alien satellite up there, right now, in orbit, and not just for a little while, but for thousands of years, just watching us? It's a pretty wild thought, but it's one that has totally captivated people for decades.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? The people who believe in this don't think it's just a random piece of space junk. No, they see it as something intentional, a sentinel, an ancient artifact put there by someone or something way more advanced than us. That's the idea that gives this whole story its power.
So, what is the Black Knight satellite, according to the believers? Well, it's not really about one single event. It's more like a giant puzzle, pieced together from over 100 years of weird signals, strange sightings, and things that just didn't quite add up.
And here's the kicker, the part that makes this whole story so compelling. The claim is that this thing was in orbit before we were. We're talking before Sputnik, before NASA, before we had any clue how to send a rocket into space. The idea that someone else got here first, that's what makes you go,
Right, so this whole legend didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was built up little by little over a very long time. It's this collection of totally separate, unrelated events that, when you line them all up, start to paint a really convincing picture.
You can really see how the story snowballed over a century. It all starts way back with Nikola Tesla, who's picking up these weird repeating radio signals and thinks, hey, maybe this is from Mars. Then you fast forward to the 50s and 60s, right in the middle of the space race, and suddenly there are all these reports of a mysterious, dark satellite. And then bam, 1998, the legend gets its money shot, that now famous photo from the Space Shuttle Endeavour. Each one of these moments added another layer of credibility to the myth.
Okay, so we've got this awesome, compelling story built over 100 years. It's like this trail of breadcrumbs leading to a pretty incredible conclusion. But what happens when we stop and actually look at each of these breadcrumbs with a scientific lens?
And this is where you see the two stories collide. On one hand, the legend says all these different events are connected. They're all proof of this one single object, the Black Knight. But on the other hand, science looks at each piece of evidence one by one and, well, it finds a much more down-to-earth explanation for each.
And when you start to break it all down, the scientific answers are actually pretty straightforward. Those bizarre signals Tesla picked up? Turns out they almost perfectly match the radio signals from pulsars, something we wouldn't even discover for decades. And those dark objects from the 60s? They line up really well with fragments from some of our own early satellites that broke apart. And that famous photo from 1998? Yeah, that's been confirmed by NASA. It's a thermal blanket that an astronaut accidentally let go of during a spacewalk.
So the bottom line from the scientific community is pretty clear. As cool as the story is, there's just no actual evidence to support it. Every single piece of the puzzle that makes up the Black Knight legend has a logical, earthly explanation.
But hold on. If it's not real, then why are we still talking about it? Why does this myth have such incredible staying power? Well, this is where the story gets really interesting, because it stops being about space and starts being about us.
The thing is, the Black Knight has become a modern-day myth. It's taken on a life of its own. You see it everywhere, in sci-fi books, in documentaries, inspiring music and art. It's become this powerful symbol of the unknown, of that feeling of being watched, and our deep, deep desire to figure out our place in the universe. And social media? It's like rocket fuel for the legend, constantly repackaging it and introducing it to a whole new generation.
And you know, psychologically, it makes a ton of sense why we're so drawn to a story like this. It taps into some really basic human needs. First, it gives the universe a sense of mystery and meaning. It makes it feel less big and empty. Second, it plays right into our confirmation bias. If you want to believe, you'll find reasons to. And finally, it creates this amazing sense of community. Sharing a belief like this online brings people together.
So, in the end, the story of the Black Knight satellite might not tell us much about alien visitors, but it tells us a ton about ourselves. It shows our incredible capacity for wonder, our relentless need for answers, and that little bit of hope that when we look up into that vast, dark sky, something just might be looking back.